everybody, and welcome back to Scary Stories to Tell from the Res. I'm your host, Jordan Lombert, and I want to welcome everybody to gather around, pull up a log, chair, and let's do what we came here to do. Let's tell some scary stories. I'm not going to waste time because I have some amazing stories that I cannot wait to share with you. Our first story comes from a really close, he's a relative of mine, cousin. I'm just going to call him T. Let's hear what T has to say, coming all the way from the Northern Ute Indian Reservation in Utah. With that being said, take it away, T.
I'll start at the beginning. Back when I was a little boy, my dad and my uncles talked to me and they said, "Let's go hunt. Let's get out of here. Let's go down south, down to Hill Creek." So, of course, me as a little kid, yeah, I was like, "All right, let's go." I was ready. When we got there, it was foggy, dark, cloudy, and then my uncle Victor told me, "Okay, there's this thing coming up. It's that time of night when the moon's all the way out. You gotta hide because this thing's coming." And he said, "It's not like other stories. It's like an old story. It's a man without a head." He said, "We're gonna keep hunting, but tonight, you see how the fog is coming up and it glows?" And he told me, "Hey nephew, get back in the truck with your dad. Get in there. And remember this. Don't look. You can hear them, but you can't look." And all I hear is horse hooves and chains, you know. It was down in Hill Creek. He said, "It's the headless horseman." I asked him, "What's the headless horseman to us?" He said, "Don't worry about it. Just keep your head down. And as he goes by, respect, give him something, a cigarette, a rock, or something that you like. Give it, because otherwise he'll take you away. You'll be a part of his chain." So I gave him something. I gave him a toy when I was little, but all I could hear was those chains. And him and my dad were talking. "Make sure he don't look. Make sure he don't watch. We're doing things." I don't know what they were talking about, but they were watching me. And when that thing started coming, the night is now, it's dark. But when he came by, the night was light. Not even the moon was out. Like morning dew and evening night. And that thing said, "You keep going. You keep being strong. But make sure you don't look at me, because otherwise I'm going to be after you." And while he said that, I tried to take a peek, but I think that thing pushed my head down and made sure I didn't look. And he said, "You're not ready. It's not your time. Wait until you're older. Then you can see me." And by the time that thing went by, I forgot what I said. I forgot what I asked. And then it was about a year ago or a couple days ago, it said, "You remember me. Now you're old enough." I am. You think I am. But I'm not no storybook. I'll be here. Even after you're gone, I'll be here. And it told me, "Keep your head down. You're not ready." Even in my dreams. I'm 30 years old and it still told me, "Make sure you make the best choices that you can." I know you can hear me. I know you can tell I'm part of you. So it's saying, Well, I think it's saying no matter what you do, no matter where you go, I will always be here. I'm not scary. I'm not gonna take you. I only take the ones that are worthy. Then it just disappeared. The next day, I heard a growl in the mountains down south in Hill Creek. A growl, like a yawn. Then everything went quiet. My dad and my uncles thought it was a bear. Then it yawned again. You couldn't hear nothing. Only thing you could hear was a ring in your ears. Then you look and see there was nothing. Then my dad and my uncle tried to test it. They thought it was a bear, but it was not. Because it did come back. It only said a few words to me. Wake up. Be ready. I am here, and there's more. So I asked it, what do you want from us? It's not what I want from all of you. It's what I want from you. Can you take care of everything? Can you take care of me? But the voice kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And I told it, I can. It just stopped. Dead of night. Stop talking. Stop saying things. If you ever been down in Hill Creek, you can hear everything. Everything echoes. But it was just silent. There was nothing. What I think it is maybe a spirit that comes from the same place. You know, everybody misses somebody. Everybody wants somebody to come back. And when we have hard times, they're gone. You know, it's time to move forward. There's a place down there in Hill Creek and up here, up north, up Rock Creek, that want to be heard, but no one listens to. It's kind of like, I don't know how you can say it. There's somebody that is wanting to go forward, but they can't. They cannot. And they hear it, and those things speak, and they don't speak like us. They speak in their own way. Everybody thinks it's a story, but it's not. It's what really happened. And to me, that is kind of scary. But there are, and there is things out there that can hear you, hear your cry, hear your hurt. But I'm going to say this as a youth man, be strong, because those things are not here. They're trying to get you so they can be. Remember where you come from.
Thank you, T. Man, that story. I've done a lot of research in trying to find any lore of a headless horseman around the Uinta Reservation, the Northern Ute Reservation, and I haven't come across anything, but like you said, it sounded like a spirit, something old and ancient, maybe possibly a warrior that might have fallen, that keeps an eye on the land, guiding people, helping to nurture them and make sure that they make it. Hopefully we get to sit down with you again and you can further elaborate what you think it is. I like it though. Maybe one day I'll be out driving in the area. Who knows, I might come across this headless horseman. Our next story would like to remain anonymous but was submitted through our Facebook Messenger. You guys can submit your stories both through the Facebook page, Scary Stories to Tell from the Res. You can submit them to scaryresstories@gmail.com. Or if you want to leave it in the comments here on YouTube, we can do that too. With that being said, let's dive into this story. I like to remain anonymous. This story was told to me by my sister. I do believe what she told me. We live on the Fort Peck Indian Reservation in Montana. She was walking with her boyfriend through an alley by what we call the housing playground. It was night. The kind of foggy, though. She happened to notice something in the sky. It was dark and floating. All she could see was the outline of the horse with small wings. They looked too small. They were out of proportion to the body. How could it make a horse fly? The wings twitched just a little. Then she noticed a man that was standing on the back of the horse, holding reins. Just the outline of him. He had a hood on. A cloak, maybe? But the man had bright green eyes. She said, "He saw us. He stared at us till he went into the fog." I couldn't imagine the fear she felt watching this thing. She said, when you're walking at night and you feel like you're being watched and you don't see anything, maybe it's because it's in the sky above you. Ooh, can you imagine seeing something like that? Thank you again, sorry. But can you imagine? We all have that fear. Something's watching us, and we look, and we can't see it. Like right now. Maybe if you look up into the sky, you feel like you're being watched. You just might catch a glimpse of the flying cloaked horse. Who knows what it means? I want to know. Were there any misfortunes? Were there anything that happened after that? Was it good? Was it bad? Either way, that's still pretty scary. All right, let's move on to the next story of the night. These are stories that have been submitted. Like I said, you can submit your stories to the Facebook page. You can submit them anywhere else that I've listed below. These are some of the ones that I haven't had a chance to really dive into. But I want to take a story from a friend of mine, Amber Zufelt. This story is from the Sac and Fox Reservation in Oklahoma. I have so many stories to tell. I don't know where to start. My earliest memory of the strange events is when I was 7 years old. For weeks I heard tapping and whispering at my bedroom window. No matter how many times I woke up my parents, they never saw anything. Eventually, I got so scared I would sleep in the front room in a chair. After a while, I started waking up with scratches on my arms and legs. Long scratches, always 3 at a time. I don't sleep for more than a couple hours at night. I always felt like I was being watched, and that something would get me if I dozed off. My parents took me to a doctor to try to figure out how to help me, but it got so bad that they were worrying for my health. I knew something was happening, and no one believed me. Everyone thought I was crazy, except for my grandma. After a few months, my parents woke up to me screaming in the other room. I'd fallen asleep and felt like the scratching and tapping sounds were in the room with me, and my arms burned like I'd been scratched again. When my parents flipped on the light, my mother saw what she described as a man in a bearskin suit tucking behind the chair I was sitting in. He had long hair and black eyes. Even the whites of his eyes were black. He was skin and bone and brittle. She ran toward me, but when she looked behind the chair, he was gone. My grandmother told us not to talk about it. I slept at my grandma's house for days, and she healed me from the suffering I had done during the time I struggled with whatever this thing was. We haven't spoken of it since. Anytime I would bring it up, they would say not to talk about it, so we didn't give it any power. I still don't know what the thing was, but ever since then, it's like they're attracted to me. This is the first time that I've ever told this story. Thank you again, Amber, for that story. So much to unpack there. The fact that you guys were able to catch a physical look, a glimpse. Now, normally these things, we see them in the corners of our eyes. But if she was able to get a good look at this person, this spirit, maybe, the scratches are pretty indicative that whatever this thing was probably malicious, maybe even trying to get your attention. And the bearskin suit, well, it leads me to think that that might have been, well, possibly a skinwalker. But who knows? I'd love to have you on the show to talk about this story as well, because I feel like this story is giving so many questions that I feel like need answered. I want to thank everybody tonight for sitting down with me and rejoining. Hopefully we can return to format here. And I'm so happy for all the support, all the love that everybody's been giving me. You guys are definitely what make this show possible, and I couldn't be here without any of you. So once again, thank you. I want to end the night with one more story, and this one I found on TikTok, and I'm super glad to feature him and his story. This next one is more of an explanation or sort of a myth explained segment of the show from the Paiute Indian Reservation. Take it away.
Tell us about your band's belief on the Sasquatch. Story time. So, my tribe, the Northern Paiute, traditionally taught children and youth, "Katogano, kaipu anatumat wipan." Don't be outside at nighttime fooling around or whatever. Stay indoors and be quiet. Kayagapan, kayunipan, uwihuga. Maybe some of that had to do with just the parents, they wanted to go to sleep, right? But there was also a time when and they would come and take our children away forcefully and send them off to boarding schools. And so we tried our best to remain hidden from them and not make any noise, or else they would be able to find us. But perhaps even more frightening, maybe, is this creature known as a paizo, which may or may not exactly be the Sasquatch, but this being, this creature is a nunu, it's a monster. And so this creature, listening very intently and closely, trying to discern the sounds of kids, of youth, playing or making noise, whether outside or inside, he'll hear them. And so he follows that sound to wherever they're at to try to find them. And this kawono is a basket like this, but it's fully woven. So all this will be fully covered in huge canonical shaped basket, and inside it are these spikes. And so when he throws the child in there, there's no way they're going to escape. Okay, so he takes his basket with his children in it. He leads them away in the darkness of night to wherever it is that he lives. He takes the children out, he cooks them up, completely consumes them, completely eats them up. And unlike those red-haired giants that, we killed them, this Paizo, he's still out there. He's still out there, and they say that he's still hungry, and he's still looking, listening, trying to find children so that he can eat them. Children who are making noise or being outside, fooling around, because he's hungry. He wants to eat them.
All right. I want to say thank you again to TikTok Paiute on TikTok for explaining some of that. We have been talking about Bigfoot in the last few episodes, and I know Wolfie and I were a little long-winded in those episodes, but I want to say thank you for helping give you the Paiute explanation as to what their belief on the Bigfoot is. And it's interesting because to me, it's sort of an amalgamation in the Ute culture of the basket lady and Bigfoot. So that was a really interesting story to get in perspective. I look forward to hearing more stories, and hopefully we can get you on the show. I would love to have so many guests onto the show. You guys, again, like I said, you guys make this all possible. With that being said, guys, I think it's time to put the fire out. It's a short episode, but I figure it's a little way to dip our toes back into the paranormal side of everything. Oh, before I forget, I had an opportunity, sort of a sneak peek behind the next episode that I've got going. I actually got an opportunity to meet. I met him in person over a year ago, but I got to sit down and do an interview with Keith Secola, famous for a lot of Native American indigenous music. My personal favorite, obviously, is Riding in Your Indian Car. I got to sit down with him and do an interview, and he told some stories about the time. I really tried to get some stories out of him from his time on the road, but he did give me a lot of lore, especially, and this is my favorite, was about the Wendigo. Oh, I'm super excited to debut that episode. We got to talk, and hopefully here soon in the near future we'll get to hang out with him in person. Gosh, guys, it's been fun, and I'm so happy to be back, and I can't say thank you enough. So with that, I want to say thank you all. Make sure that before you guys go home, before you turn this off, you guys smudge yourselves off. Say a little prayer, so that way nothing bad follows you home. So with that, guys, I think it's time to put it out, and let's go home. What do you say? So remember, stay safe, stay smudged, but most importantly, stay scary, guys. Now, I know that I said that it was going to be a short episode, but I came across one story on the YouTube page that I really wanted to tell, and I was super excited to do it. It's our little treat, if you will. This story comes from Van3363 on YouTube, and it goes like this. I was at my eldest daughter's home. She was miles from the nearest town. The kids were all gone grocery shopping, and I was there alone. But I felt like I wasn't alone, like someone was right outside of the window. I caught a glimpse out of my eye, and it looked like my daughter, but she was much younger, dressed in a white buckskin dress and carrying a baby on her back. I started to open the door and felt like I shouldn't. The woman walked by the window, and a minute later, the kids drove in. When I opened the door, there was no sign of anyone else. The weird thing was, the dogs never barked. We often see a tan-colored panther out here, so I don't know, but I feel like it has something to do with what I saw. They moved, and I'm glad I no longer have to be out there, especially alone.